Good evening, friends. Stephen Ben-Nun here with Israeli News Live on our Patreon channel. And I wanted to share something with you from the Dead Sea Scrolls. This is actually from what they call the Angelic Liturgy Scroll. It's 4Q Shirshab, Shirshab, or 4Q405. Specifically, everything that you read here in this particular Dead Sea Scrolls is pretty wild, and to say the very least there. And it is believed to be that that this is the angelic priesthood is what it's speaking about. But in the research that I do, I really was kind of taken back by this particular scroll. If you look at it in the Hebrew language here, if you're able to understand what you're looking at here, this word right here, ha'ophanim, or ophanim, or ophe, I can't highlight it. I wish I could show you a little bit better about that. They don't translate that into English. It's a difficult word to begin with, and it's actually more along the lines of what you might consider to be like a bicycle wheel. It's a disc, is really what it is. And when we're reading this, and of course the Melechai Kodesh Yotze Mebin, this is saying that the holy angels that were in this disc item, when they exited out from between. So like there was some kind of door in the middle of this Ophanim, and they came out from between, literally, Galigal, which is a wheel, and Chavod Chamare Eish. And what that means there is that it was, it kind of had a mirror of a fire, or it reflected like a fire. And now when you look at it the way they translate it here, it's still relatively pretty accurate. It says when the Ophanim moved forward, and in other words, this disc object moved forward, the holy angels returned, and they emerged from between its glorious wheels with the likeness of fire. I don't know about you guys, but when I look at something like this, you can't help but realize they're not just talking about anything. They're really trying to describe to you the mode of transportation in which the angels come in. Okay, so let's look at it. Vaults of the cherubs, and they sing the splendor of the shining vault, which is beneath the seat of his glory. And when the Ophanim, or the disc, moved forward, the holy angels returned. They emerged from between its glorious wheels with the likeness of fire. The spirits of the Holy of Holies around them as the likeness of streams of fire, like electrum in the luminous substance, gloriously multicolored, wonderful colors, purely blended. The spirits of the living gods moved constantly with the glory of the wonderful chariots. And there is a murmuring voice of blessing in the uproar of their motion and their praise, the Holy One returning to their paths. When they rise wonderfully. When they settle, they stand still. The sound of glad rejoicing becomes silent, and there is a calm blessing of the gods in the camps of the gods. All right? And it does, it does say gods. It's plural. I don't know. When I look at this here and I'm reading this, I see basically what I'm seeing, what I highlighted in the yellow here for you, is it's describing a mode of transportation, is what it's describing. It's describing when, and literally, you don't have to say angels. You could just say messenger. The holy messengers, they exited from between, Umabin, all right, that's from between, Galigali, which is the wheel. So they're traveling in this disc-shaped object that's also described as a wheel, And these holy messengers are described as coming out from that wheel, and that wheel having a mirror of a fire. Now, it's not that they come out looking like fire, but it's still, I believe it's still trying to describe the craft itself. The Ruachot Kodosh, which is the Holy of Spirits, or the spirits of the Holy of Holies, Saviv Shavuli Eish Bedemot Chashamal. Okay, I'm sitting here stumbling on the words here now, so come back over here to the English side for you. And the spirits of the Holy of Holies, around them is the likeness of the streams of fire like electrum. I mean, think about it, right? Let's just do this here, because I like to define things as I go when they're using words. A natural artificial alloy of gold with at least 20% silver used for jewelry, especially in the ancient times. So, again, they're describing that around them is the likeness of the streams of fire like electrum. So it's like a golden fire looking thing. And a luminous substance. Then, of course, he goes here. The spirits of the living gods move constantly with the glory of the wonderful chariots. So they call them chariots, which, granted, is the mode of transportation. But the description, the ophanim, especially that word ophanim, the ophanim is clearly a disc-shaped object. And they talk about the messengers, the holy messengers, or as they call them, holy angels, actually come out from between the wheels that have a likeness of fire. I mean, it seems to me that they're describing some kind of spaceship, quite frankly. And well, I guess the point would be is that when you're looking at this, you're looking at, it's not to say that the angels didn't come, but it's just how they got there. We've always just assumed that, angels just boop, and they're there, and not to say they don't, they can. I'm sure they have different modes of transportation themselves, but in this case here, they're coming by their chariots, and their chariots are a disc-shaped object and also described as wheels. Remember Ezekiel when he talks about the wheel in the wheel, right? And they go up and they're looking out of that wheel in the wheel. Think about it, right? It's just kind of crazy to me. Not in a bad way, but just kind of interesting. Maybe that's the best way to put it. Anyway, I'm Steve Ben-Nun. You're watching Israeli News Live on our Patreon channel. I hope these things are a blessing and hopefully don't cause more questions than what we already have. Anyway, God bless you guys. Have a great day.